Hello, everybody. You are watching the second round of the Champion Cup, the PlayStation Cabal Vision Official Champion Cup. This is everybody who has been playing in the Champion Ladder for the Season 1, and we picked 16 teams out of there. They fought through round 1, tooth and nail. The matches were very close here. You can see how they turned out, and then a lot of them went to overtime. One of them even went to penalty kicks. We're here in round 2. One match has taken place here for beer. The humans took out the High Elves. And so they will be advancing, and we're going to have a doubleheader now. All right, it's going to be first Lizardry, Wizardry, coached by FantFox, versus BNT's FC Atletico Funtimes, which is Mojo Nova, and you're going to be seeing that match right now. And then right afterwards, probably 5 minutes afterwards, you're going to see Blood and Tears Folks, coached by Sam T, my co-admin of the Cup, versus me, Serious Jest, and the South Park Cowboys. All right, Lizardry, Wizardry is the Lizard team. I'm going to give you a quick look at their roster. I did a little pre-show or whatever, but this one's for keeps. So you can see, I think the most dangerous player there is Merlin, and the Agi 4 Skink Willow the third. All right, and they're the hosts. You see their level 2 stadium with no enhancements, so that's not really going to be a factor here. All right, and if you want to take a look at Funtimes is representing the undead teams, the only undead team, just like the Lizardry was the only Wizard team to make it. They're the top race coach. We also took the top 3 overall after the top 13 because Nurgle wasn't around at the time. You can see this undead team here. Nothing crazy. Nothing. They're just a solid team all the way through. I think their MVP or whatever is or their most of their star players really, or the team leaders, Carrion Ripper. Just because he can on offense, he does those. He's a blodger with the short hands and the sidestep. And then on defense, he's also got that diving tackle. But you also got to watch out for Oswald the Stern, the white pylon mighty blow. That's a mean dude. The 2 mummies, of course, doing the standard mummy damage block on this mummy, which makes a big difference. And we're not at the Thunderdome, so we won't worry about that. All right, let's go to Cabal Vision, go to Cabal TV Live, and get this party started. And they should be up in here. Okay, they have. Oh, there you go. Parties are on the pitch. And let me check the chat and see what the coaches told me the inducements were. All right, so it looks like I will be joined really soon by ReznorRulesYou, who is my frequent co-announcer in the MML, but this is the first time that he's going to join us in an actual PS4 Champion Cup match. ReznorRulesYou coached the top Wood Elf team, and they unfortunately did not make it to the second round. They lost in a amazing overtime game where they went up 2-0 to start against Mojo Nova, one of the teams that's playing now, the visiting team, the Atletico Funtimes. They went up 2-0 on this undead team, and the undead team managed to scrap their way back, scoring right before the first half. So it made it 2-1. They came back, scored again 2-2 to tie up the game. It went into overtime, and the undead got the ball back. So it ended up being a Funtimes amazing comeback, very, very epic in overtime. Rez has not joined us yet in the announcers booth, but it will be a treat. He's a good dude, and he's entertaining to listen to. So we have the ball kicked off. And there's a riot in the stands. The fans have been looking forward to this match all week. They basically had to wait a week to see this match, and they're pissed off. They're ready to go at each other. Everybody's riled up, and basically it takes the refs a while to clear this field as fights erupt all over the place, spilling onto the field. The teams, actually kind of back to back, making sure that none of them get hit by an errant bottle or a vial of acid or something. So the refs finally able to clear the field and continue the game. But under standard Blood Bowl rules, hey, time continues to tick, and if the fans are going to take away from it, we just lost out on a turn a good Blood Bowl. So let's see how this affects the rest of the match. Turn 1 is a no-go. Turn 1 is a nil proposition. And we see the ghouls run back, the ball kicked off, basically to the middle of the undead side of the pitch. And there's the Stern. Oswald the Stern, we talked about him right before this match started. He takes a shot at that blodging mighty blow, Saurus Severus Snape. And so we talked about the tackle was a factor. So he's trying to get that tackle in on that dodge right away. He doesn't want to let Snape control who it is that has to hit Snape or who's marked up with Snape. He wants to put Snape down right away so that that's one guy he doesn't have to worry about, and he controls him with Oswald the Stern. Very smart, though. After hitting Snape, he's going to take this, probably his most important blocking piece, and then move zombies over here. So it's kind of like that bash and dash thing. Run up, take a swipe. The Saurus turns around. He's angry. He wants his revenge, but now there's two zombies standing here in front of him. He's probably not going to be able to get his revenge next turn, so he's going to have to try to rely on one of his partners. And, oh, Albus Dumbledore, one of the guards, Saurus, gets rocked with a right cross from one of the zombies, and he's going to be badly hurt. And here comes the apothecary. Man, the lizards haven't even had a chance to go yet, and their apothecary has already spent his equipment. Dumbledore was a rat for the game, but the apothecary came over, did his magic Mr. Miyagi hand stuff, and why isn't Mr. Miyagi one of these wizards on Wizardry? Kind of was a wizard, right? Think about it. And then right after, Gandalf 4 is hit by Baru the Tyrant, and he's badly hurt. And after all the apothecary's hard work, you are going to see a Saurus on that sideline. One of those guard tackle block Saurus is going to be on that sideline. By the way, I was educated not too long ago. I kept calling them plural, Saurai. That is based on an argument I read from one of these so-called English experts who said that based upon the use of the setup of the word, the basic English language dictates that the plural version of it would be Saurai. That is the correct version, and that's how it is. So since then, people have been arguing, what is the plural of Saurus? And a lot of people said Saurai, and our man Mello from the Blood and Tears League started calling him. He was just calling him Saurus and say, "Hey, not for nothing, it's Saurus." So I told him what I'd read, and he said, "Yeah, that's real cool that the English experts have decided to call it Saurus, Saurai rather." But Games Workshop made the word up and has publicly said that the plural is Saurus. So I don't have the article handy. You guys can fact check it, but according to Mello from the Blood and Tears League, the plural is Saurus. And while I've been saying all that, you see a nice little screen over here, right across the midfield. You got the you got the zombie and the two mummies in the middle controlling the pitch. This is smart play. These are the guys. This is their bread and butter on this team. I think is the whites. I mean, the ghouls are gonna be the ball carriers, but the guys that are posing the biggest threat are the whites. And if you're the Saurus team, and you got this mighty blow Saurus, you want to really keep putting bodies on this guy, especially Oswald the Stern. The quicker you can take him out, the better. I'm sure that's part of the game plan. But what Mojo is doing is keeping these zombies, this cannon fodder over here, or these big mummies, these big scary mummies, keeping them in a place where if you want to go attack these whites, you really can't get to them. Unless you want to use like Doctor Strange, who's in level 1 Saurus, and he's not that big of a threat. I mean, the Wizard of Oz can get to him, but he's not packing the Mighty Blow. He's keeping the Mighty Blow guys away. And I got the Stu 176 in the chat. What's going on? The Stu is the current MML champion in the chat, and he says he's still on that debate himself, and he says you should call him the way you feel. Yep, I'm with that. I'm not going around correcting people's English. I only get into the discussion at all when somebody insists.
All right.
Yeah, what's up? We have ReznorRulesYou in the chat. What's up, Rez?
How you doing, buddy?
How is it taking me this long to get you in the booth with me?
Well, we had the little bit of a delay in the Cowboys versus Team of Dirty Diapers, Michael Jackson themed team, the Dirty Diana.
Yeah,
it's
the Full Moon Thrillers.
Yeah, that was it.
And it got delayed, right. So that we were scheduled. You would have been on earlier.
We ended up doing a little impromptu, cast there with Bernie, but yeah, it was.
But yeah, people have yet to witness the greatest, the greatness rather, in the announcing booth for the Champion Cup. We hear you all the time in the MML, but now we'll get you for the first time for the PS4 Champion Cup.
Well, I mean, it's just not a Champions Cup without me calling the game, right? I mean,
Exactly.
in particular with the two of us in tandem.
Hell yeah. Legendary.
So, anything exciting yet? I see we got the Undead team. Oh, speaking of excitement, there goes Barut the Tyrant.
Look at that. Rez steps in the booth and automatically bodies start to fly. Now, right before you got here, this has already been a crazy, crazy match. So turn one, the fans who were all riled up all week, it took us a while to schedule the remainder of round two, and the fans were just too riled up. And on the kickoff, they all spilled onto the field fighting, so turn one was a wrap, right? So then after that, the Undead get the first hits, and they go to take out, if you look on the sidelines, you can see the guy standing there looking like he's really upset. Dumbledore got rocked by one of the zombies over there with and he was badly hurt. The apothecary came out to keep him in the match and was able to do so, and then right after that, the other zombie hits Gandalf. And so the Croxagore is out now.
We got an injured Croxagore here.
Yep, badly hurt. At least he was only a level 1. So I think that if you're going to lose any of these big guys, and it's not going to be Doctor Strange, who is the only unleveled Saurus, I think the Crocs might be an okay scenario. You don't want to lose one of these Mighty Blow guys or the tackle pieces.
This is I've seen FantFox's team on the leaderboard. I know he had a really long undefeated run in the Season 1 for the Clatter. This is a very nicely developed team. I mean, you've got 3 Saurai who have tackle, including the one on the sideline.
Yep. As well as you get the one break tackle guy, and he has another Agi Force skink who is out for this game.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's a really nice developed Blizzard team.
Yeah. Yeah, this is this team can ruin your day. They're pretty tough to deal with.
And let's see here. What were the inducements like?
Oh, you know what? That's a good question. I don't think there were any.
Okay.
Yeah, no inducements. Yep. So these guys came out.
That seems to make sense. I mean, Undead and Lizards are both teams that seem like they really thrive around like 1600.
Right. I agree with that. After that, the extra skills are cream, kind of, but...
Yeah, I mean, depending on what kind of, if you're rolling stats or doubles, and here comes the pile-on!
Whoa! Wow, so the Undead team really milking this skill that's about to get... Well, that has been nerfed in tabletop. And a lot of people who... the Basher teams who love the pylon skill... if you haven't been keeping track, Games Workshop just kind of rededicated itself.
Reroll for pylon now, right?
Yeah. So Games Workshop said that for the tabletop, if you want to use that skill... you have to use a team reroll for that. That's so even if your guy has you can't you can't add the pro skill, which lets you have a 50% chance of a free reroll, and you can't use the pro skill to do that.
Because it has to be a team.
Team reroll.
Oh man, I mean, as a primarily Wood Elf, but just in general as a Wood Elf coach, I wouldn't exactly be sad to see piling on not become such a big thing. But that's one heck of a mechanic reworking,
Yeah.
I mean,
that's a nerf. They neutralize this thing.
If they try to do something like that on the game, I mean, honestly, I feel like I don't know if it would be possible, but I mean, to maybe like delete the skill off of the player and give them their choice back, because that's a friggin' waste of a skill then.
Yeah, I don't see people getting their choice back. But yeah, it is. Like I know that for instance in my my MML team, my MML Pro team, I have that Mighty Blow pylon werewolf, and he is like kind of the centerpiece of my tein, and that rule, if implemented, is going to create big problems for my team.
Well, and I really have no intentions of piling on him anyway, but I have my my movement 9 tackle Mighty Blow sidestep War Dancer who just rolled doubles again. But the piling on is a very sexy choice, but I can't see him surviving very long if he starts piling on people, because even an unassisted foul is still pretty good percentage. But the pile-on nerf, I mean, takes that choice away from you anyway. There's no incentive to take it. I see we got Stu in the chat here. I just got the Twitch loaded up. I agree 100%. Stu, tackle needs to be banned. It's an abomination, as the Blitzkriegers Blood Bowl 101 has clearly pointed out before. Let's see here. It's a nice, decent little cage here, man. Losing Barut the Tyrant. I mean, you're losing your block guard mummy right there. Really gonna muck up some things for Atletico Funtimes. Mojo Nova and the B&T Atletico are the team that eliminated me from the cup. I've not actually played FantFox and his Lizards, I don't believe, at any point throughout the season.
Hey, can you hear me right now?
I can hear you now.
Okay, so I had some issue with my microphone. I don't know what's going on with it.
No sweat. Oh, we get the blitz from Severus Snape. Not gonna be very effective though. Yeah, I flipped through the players really quick, and for a second it looked like that zombie had sure hands block and sidestep to me.
Could be create problems.
That's the most skilled zombie I've ever seen.
Alright, hold on. I'm going to try something again. Let me know if you can still hear me.
Right. Can you hear me now? Can you still hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Okay. It sounds a little further away.
Alright. I'll adjust the other microphone. Alright, cool. So, yeah, so this is what a lot of coaches don't like, this strategy right here. You know, Mojo, as you know, is a very skilled coach. In fact, he's the guy that put you out of the Champion Cup last round. But this little side cage right here is not something a lot of coaches are fans of or think is a good idea. And ooh, skinked foul.
There's the foul. That's what you get for piling on.
Osvaldo the Stern knocked out of this drive, but the regeneration kicks in, and we'll see him back. But that's their major guy.
That is all of the Funtimes hitting power is on the sideline, right? Their true hitting power is on the sideline now. Their block true. Mummy and their mighty blow piling on tackle white. Yeah, they've still got a mummy. Doesn't matter. That's not going to make him feel any better right now.
Yeah, but I mean, so all it's doing is giving the Lizards a current break. But with that regeneration, he'll be back.
Oh, definitely. Oh, definitely. You've at least got that to look forward to, but then you've got to go on. Then you've got to go on to defense. If Barut, the block mummy, doesn't get up, they're gonna have a difficult time cracking that cage. Yeah, you can crash your regular mummy onto them, but enough so I can take down a mummy.
Yeah.
I could just see them climbing and slithering on top of each other as they try to paw up and smack the mummy in the face.
And look, here comes the boom. Brian hits Merlin, and that's the most dangerous piece to me on the Sora side with the break tackle and the mighty blow. You can mark him up, and he can still dodge out and get to the guy that he wants to get to.
Most definitely. I think what we're really seeing here is Mojo has no intention of trying to hold the sideline. He's trying to pull the old switcheroo there. The ghouls do have their 7 movements. So they can move pretty well. The skinks will get back into place, but now if he's going to get some Sora marked up here, and it's going to be very difficult for the Lizards to swing the defense back around in any kind of effective manner.
Right, so like what he did was very wisely. He kind of suckered him in. Like you say, he brought this cage over here. And, I say suckered loosely because FantFox is a very competent coach as well. And these guys...
you have to play it. It's not even so much of a trick. It's just forcing his hand. If he doesn't come over and cover the sideline, maybe he didn't have to go as heavy, but I'd probably have done the same. You don't cover the sideline, and all of a sudden you've got 3 ghouls running down that sideline. So it's...
Yeah, so but these two coaches are both from the Blood and Tears League, and they have played each other extensively, so they know each other
Oh,
very well.
okay.
I know this isn't the first time that Mojo has done this to FantFox, and I know it's not the first time that FantFox has had to deal with it. But what a technique, right? You bring them over to the sideline. If you have a speed people don't realize this. The Lizards are a speed team. They just lack agility in the Saurus.
Right.
So, Fant's philosophy, I'm betting here, is all right. Well, I can match him speed for speed. He wants the ghouls. The skinks are faster than the ghouls. The lizards are just as fast as anybody, if not faster than most of the people on the other side. So I can get these guys back. I go column defense on the side, and then I run people back. But Mojo is doing a great job of sealing that corner. So even when they get back,
the problem that I'm seeing though is Mojo's not actually cut around the corner yet, and
That's
he's
true.
not marking up the Sori who are still mobile. Fox can really easily bring a couple of. I mean, he's going to have to subject some skinks to getting hit, but I mean, does anybody really care about the life of a skink except you?
Here's what I will say.
And the Wyatts.
Here's what I will say though. Yes, if you were a team that was intent on sealing this corner for good and getting downfield right away and scoring within the next two turns, that's what you would do. Mojo, however, and I've said this before, the B&T philosophy is generally of a lot of the coaches, and I'm a hybrid guy. I play in both B&T and MML, so I get the benefit of seeing how both prefer to operate. But B&T guys really have a real commitment to this possession thing, and the just score hashtag has not quite made its way rampantly through B&T. So I think that Mojo doesn't necessarily really want to seal this corner as much as force Mojo to start. FantFox is. No, I'm sorry. Mojo, doesn't want to steal the corner as much as he does want to get FantFox on his heels and having to back up. So then again, he can reestablish the cage maybe in the center, get himself within scoring range, and then pick a side. I think that if he was looking to score by turn 6, you'd see people getting marked up, and maybe even like that ghoul pushing upfield some. But no, he's taking his sweet time, and he's right where he wants to be.
Well, Mojo plays a really controlled game. I mean, I've played him a lot, and that actually your previous statement, and then that helps transition into a little mini announcement. I'm actually going to be playing in the Blood and Tears League in Season 4.
Nice, good.
Yes,
We get to have you in there.
Mojo sent me some messages last night, and I've made it pretty clear I'm not really trying to join a whole bunch of tournaments and stuff right now. I'm trying to cut back on some of my scheduling commitment, but I've had a really good time playing against Mojo and talking with guys like Sam and Fox. So I figured, I'll give it a shot. It sounds like a good time. So, worst case scenario, I only stay for one season,
Yeah.
But I foresee it being a good time.
Yeah, it's a great group of guys over in the Blood and Tears League. Stuntman Didi also is in the league as well. So
okay.
You'll see a lot of
Nova
MML
said,
guys.
Pong's over there.
Pong is over there as well. Yep, causing ruckus and frustration for his opponents.
Mojo sent. He's like, oh yeah, we need another good Woody coach in there. He's like, although Pong is just destroying everyone.
Pong is doing
sounds like Pong.
Yep, Pong's doing what Pong does. Now, I love the different. I say this over and over again. If I can only play in 2 leagues in Blood Bowl, it's MML and Blood and Tears. They bring different things that they truly bring different things to the table. So you get 2 different experiences. And I think you'll have a great
that was
time.
something you had said before that kind of caught my eye. I mean, I love everything MML, and I told Mojo, MML will always be my true love. It is the only reason that I'm still playing Blood Bowl. There's no question in my mind about that. But it's always interesting to check out different groups of guys, especially when half of them are the same guys anyway.
Yeah, exactly. And speaking of, like you said,
if I'll be Welves. Yes, Stu, I will.
It's like you tried in the MML. You tried Undead for a season. They ended up being an Elfie team.
I still love that team.
It was a really cool. I really liked the way it was set up. It was very different. It was like they were passing all over the place.
It worked. It worked.
Yeah.
It was the issue with the Mummy Factory long term is with starting relegation, and apparently it's not going to matter since I'm 0-2 and I'm going to get I'm at the top of the line for relegation right now anyway. But my
competition
thinking
is
was,
tough, man.
The pros are so rough. Every week it's one or two dice rolls, one or two kickoff events that could change everything. Oh, double skulls for Brian. Oh, and only pushes. That's
push.
not. They're really missing Oswald on this drive.
Yeah. And you know the other thing, Rez, is that you like these coaches again. They're very. Every turn is mapped out in their head, right? If FantFox manages to get Mojo to score on turn 6 or turn 5, right? This is a huge win for him because then he can run down the field and score again. That's the way they view it. They like possession is key, and burning the rerolls is also a big loss. I'm sure he does not like burning the rerolls on the opening part of his turn on a blitz on a skink. That can't be part of the plan.
On a skink of all things, when you've got block and tackle, that you feel like that's basically a home run as you send him up to hit the guy. If you can really call a skink a guy.
Skinks can be really frustrating if you're playing against them. I wonder how you would do with the Lizard team. You played a Lizard team in the MML Challenge League, didn't you?
I took a Lizard team. They won every game that season until they made it to the Challenge Cup, and then I lost the Challenge Cup. I think it was in overtime too.
Oh damn! So how'd you like? How does that compare to like from an elf coach perspective?
Honestly, if you really want the truth, I hated. Out of the 10 games that I played with those Lizards, I hated 8 of them.
Oh really?
First 8.
Why is that?
The only thing that I loved about that team was my sneaky git skink, who actually ended up getting strength down, and I kept him, and he still was awesome. He killed a block ogre with a foul in the playoffs. I think he killed 2-3 big guys throughout the season. Slow-mo is my hero.
Jeez.
But then
strength 1 skink, I've never played that because it's every hit with a 3 strength guy. Yeah.
Slow-mo don't care. Slow-mo's still around killing people.
That's funny. That is funny.
But well, that shows you kind of the attitude I had towards the team. But no, it was fun. But then I got a Croxagore with break, tackle, and block, and that started to get a little bit interesting. So that's what I said. If I could develop the Lizard team, and I've got they're probably 1,600. It's where Coach Don Eagle's block tackle source came from for this season. But if I could get break tackle on 3-4 of them, then I might start to enjoy them.
So here's
fun.
Here's what I did in the. This is kind of relates directly to this season, right? In the Champions Ladder, my second best team, right, was I had only one loss with them, and it was early. It was a Lizard team called You're My Boy Blue, right? And everybody in it was like a Will Ferrell character, right? And the Lizard team I built them kind of different. I just decided to do something different. I went with, normally the Lizard Man build is on the Saurus. You get block, and then it's like a litany of you try to spread out tackle, mighty blow, and then maybe you give one guy break tackle. So what I did, I experimented with it, and the first thing I did was go block on everybody and then break tackle. And I got break tackle on like 3 different Saurus. Right, and
nice.
I took Mighty Blow as the third skill, like deeper in, but every game became so much easier. Now you have a strength 4 dude that can like adjust, and if you don't get hung up on, I need to knock the other side out. And as long as you're not facing a team that's full of Mighty Blow, and you're not, but even if you are, you can get away.
Yeah, you still got the AV9.
Yeah, I mean, and not only that, it's like the problem with the Saurus is that AB9 is great, right? But if you get marked up by a dude with claw, there's no way to get away. You have to fight out of that, right? So especially if he's like got assists, and this is big. So they try to go Saurus on zombie, and he really needs to clear that zombie. He decides, so he doesn't want that zombie hitting his skink. He's gonna use the reroll. Let's see a zombie injury. And the zombie's going to lose, his skull's going to be fractured, and there's no regeneration for that. If you hit the zombie in the head, that's what puts them away. Yeah, but so being able to actually take your source and match you mark up who you want to, or you pull off, or you're actually forcing the other side to work for their hits against you. That's a huge deal. It makes your positioning.
Yeah, I think that's about the only way that I could play Lizards on a long-term kind of basis is with the mobility, because I would rather have 4 players left on the pitch who can move and actually, do what they need to do, instead of 10 who are just stuck planted to the ground.
Right. All right. By the way, have you considered ever switching from Wood Elves to High Elves?
High Elves are actually, I didn't start playing until Blood Bowl 2. High Elves are what I learned to play on in the Cabal Open. Probably over 100 games with them. So I like High Elves. The catchers are awesome. They've got the stats of you get 4 of them. They've got War Dancer stats.
Yep.
It's ridiculous.
Except for the actually the armor is the same. Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah. Armor's the same. They just they start with catch, but they don't start with anything else.
Right.
But that leaves them as a blank slate too.
Yep. And you can do so many things with the High Elves.
2 War Dancers.
They're like the closest. Oh! Brian gets rocked by the skink, and he's badly hurt, and the regenerate is going to fail, and Brian's not coming back. I know right now.
Is that the same skink that he tried to blitz last turn?
I'm not sure.
I think it was. I think that was the same skink he tried to hit last turn, who just kind of looked around a little bit, paused, and then just flicked his head up and smashed him in the chin.
He said, "I'm tired of you pushing me around. I'm going to stand up to you, you bully." And it worked.
And
by the way,
what has happened here?
Yeah.
Where's the undead team?
Wow. We were all caught up in talking general Blood Bowl stuff. 3 of them are laying on the sideline. A couple others, regeneration helped them come back. You're right. This was what was before a calculated drive by Mojo being right where he wanted to be. Oh, that's not going to help. The mummy gets annoyed. Where are all my friends? The one-die block is a failure, and Harry Potter's laying on the ground. This ain't Quidditch, son.
And the, man, yeah, and the problem with the undead, I mean, they're split into 2 groups right now. Carrion Ripper is in scoring range with the dodge and 2 go for it.
I mean, honestly, I know controlling the clock is important, but I think at this point you gotta go for I think you gotta go for the score.
Yeah, I think so. You've got an AG4 skink over there. You've got a break tackle, mighty blow tackle Saurus over there. There's no way. There's no way you're going to be able to stall effectively. I don't think.
Hashtag just score. Although again, I have. Out of the Blood and Tears guys, I have seen some.
I mentioned that to Mojo last night when he was discussing Blood and Tears with me, and I made a joke along the lines of, if you guys stall as much as Jess says that you do, I'm going to ruin a lot of drives. Yeah. And he said, we don't really, kinda, maybe a little, only when it makes sense.
Oh no, this guy did.
How he praised it.
Yeah, we've had. I think we had a match in the champion ladder where he did that to me. I mean, he went. There were times I was like, but I have multiple guys in range, and he would just come back and find some way to stick him somewhere, and and it finally ended up burning him. And he, he'll argue to this day. He'll be like, you had an 8% chance of getting at me on that play. I'm like, dude, you did it repeatedly for 5 turns though. I kept getting chances to come at the guy.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah, so like eventually when I finally caught up to him, and I will say that I was kind of like a dick about it a little bit, because when somebody stalls on you successfully for like 5 turns, you get pretty frustrated at that point.
It's aggravating.
Yeah. So I probably said something like "serves you right" or something like that, like you deserve that.
Oh, it's hilarious.
But
who Baldwin did a really great job in my game yesterday against him, man.
That guy was
just burning the extra turns. That was the big thing. I think he really burned for at least 2, if not 3 turns throughout the game. That if I had those, things could have really changed.
At the end, right?
Yeah. Yeah, throughout the game, he burned probably 2 or 3 turns, and that would have really changed the end of the game, obviously.
Here it comes. Carrion Ripper's going to go for it.
Yeah.
No! extra step. Too much at first. He starts to wobble. Will he? Yes! Carrion did some sprint drills this week, and that sprinting he did really helped him out to exceed his normal speed. And Rez, we've got a cameraman down. Oh,
this is a real issue. I don't know if you can talk to Focus about this, or if this is a cyanide issue. But man, we're gonna run out of cameramen. We really are.
The cameraman union really has to get involved here, because what's happening when these ghouls are scoring to the cameraman is just an unsightly and just a tragic thing, really. These guys have families.
It really is.
They're just trying to put food on the table, man.
And all this comes from upstairs. These ghouls are given the okay from the league offices, and it's really a shame, because these cameramen are just out here trying to make a living, you know.
I think I said this earlier. FantFox, in some ways, proud of the fact that he made Mojo score on turn 6. Now,
I would be absolutely. That is everything that you could have hoped for out of that drive. Barut still hasn't gotten back up. Brian, the tackle, block white, is out. And as far as the injuries for the Lizards, it's just the unskilled Crocs. And now they've got 3 turns to score, which they will have no problem, on paper doing that.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, exactly, on paper, right? I bet you Mojo has something to say about that. And you know who else has something to say about that? Who's back on the pitch now? Oswaldo the Stern.
Good old Oswald.
Or Oswald. I don't know why I called him Oswaldo. I don't know. Maybe that's just because I'm Hispanic. I just added O.
That's just a little Freudian right there. Just a little slip.
My name should be Sirius Jesto.
Oh my! And you know what it is? It's because they've got the Atletico, and it just kind of it's getting into your brain every time you see it.
I like it. By the way, this is hilarious, and I don't believe I just now saw this, but in the Twitch chat we have the infamous Harry Warthog, who, by the way, did us a big favor. In round 1, we had a match where we couldn't find somebody to stream it, and so he very gentlemanly offered to come over and stream for us and also announce for us. Harry Warthog is a very awesome dude, great guy to know, very good announcer too. He's very funny, but he's in the chat, and his latest I would say a tagline or whatever. When you were talking about
that's what she said.
No. It's his. That's what. Exactly. His version of that's what she said. He said, when you were talking about how much you love your undead team, he said, "Did you love that? Did you love that team in college?"
Oh my! I see someone. Someone brought up the fact that I may have just neglected Harry's commentary there. Harry's awesome. Harry called my pro game yesterday over at MML. Thunder jumped in. It was an extremely British broadcast.
Yeah, until I got there, I was like, "What the hell is this?
Yeah.
What the hell is going on?" There may have been a Mr. Bean reference in there somewhere. I don't know. Got off the rails.
There was multiple amounts of times that I had no idea what they were talking about.
And they're just both laughing. You can't even say hysterically. It's almost like they've got that haughty laugh that you expect from high elves.
I don't know if Thundum was either very, very well lubricated, or if it was fully intentional to combat Harry's, I believe it's the Yorkshire accent. But I mean, Thundum came in and he was just, I don't think I've ever heard anyone talk so British in my life.
So you're seeing Funtimes now. They're setting up. They're picking their side of the field. They're not mincing around. They're not messing around. They're not going to control the middle of the pitch. They're going to get downfield and try to screen these zombies.
Did we already
off.
have a pitch invasion?
No. The first one was a riot.
Oh, okay.
So this time,
okay.
It looks like the Lizard fans really, I guess they won that little exchange in the riot, because there are more of them, it appears, than there are of undead fans on the field, and the Lizard fans really caused some havoc and knock out 5 of the already dwindling numbers of the undead. There are literally only 5 undead left standing up, and We haven't even started or the bottom half of turn 6 yet, or now we just have.
Yeah, and that's just vicious. The one thing that the Funtimes have going for them is it's such a deep kick, and the Skinks are, you know, not very great at handling the ball between each other.
Right. And it does help that Willow the Third is a very agile guy. So that's an 83% pickup, and he spends 1, 2, 3, 4 of his 8 movement spaces that are guaranteed getting to the ball.
And he does have sure feet as well.
Right. So that gives him the automatic reroll on the go for it. So he can get to this ball in 4, go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 2 GFIs will make it a handoff. But really, Rez, if he doesn't even GFI, right, if he puts it...
I don't think he needs to get rid of the ball. I think he can position himself pretty safely.
For the relay later?
Yeah, you mark up everybody laying on the ground. Don't let them move. And basically, he should have a pretty free shot straight down there. It's an AG4 skink. What are you going to do to stop him?
Well, think about this. You know what's even worse for the other side is that you don't need to mark up those guys on the ground. They're stunned for... So remember, they're stunned before the Lizard team has even gone. I mean, the Undead team has gone once. So you really only have to worry about the guys standing up. They're going to remain stunned on the next turn.
Oh, yeah, but probably if Willow comes up, he'll probably get... up to maybe around the 12 or something like that. So he'll have to end up probably halfway up Mojo's sideline on turn 7. And so then they'll be able to actually put a little... Yeah, so here comes he's going to prep the sideline cage. Yeah, see, I don't know. I'm an elf coach, so I would not mark them anyway. But with the AV9, I'd consider leaving him on him. Really doesn't matter.
He doesn't have enough. Anyway. Yeah, he doesn't have enough movement too yet to be a real threat. So I don't know. I'd give him the extra block. But you see this, I'd consider a pass here, or I'd take the GFI because he's got the sure feet.
Yeah, I think I'd do the 2 GFI. Although the problem is, let's see, it's all zombies standing. They can't get anywhere. Yeah, I'd take the 2 GFI, leave a leave a little bit of a screen. You should be able to take care of any issue there.
I mean, only because of the pitch invasion, and I know that I don't want to have this mess up next turn when they're about to get up, right? Yeah. See, and this is just me.
Yeah,
I probably would have passed it or handed it off to Mim right there, so that the ball is securely there and you can go at will. You know what I mean? Rather than have to mess
he'll
around.
have a completely unimpeded path to do that next turn if he wants to.
Yeah.
I'm curious if you see there's 2 unleveled skinks and a loner. The Willow is actually the only skink who has leveled. I'm thinking that Fant probably subscribes to the if a skink hasn't rolled doubles or stat up by level 3, that they're gone.
I think he's had a few of them die actually organically.
Really?
Yeah, I think and that's just off of my memory. I mean, you might be right. I just I remember this team actually being pretty robust with this. Like the Skinks actually had some developments, and they just took a lot of deaths lately.
That happens. That definitely happens.
Yep. That's why those coaches, the ones that you talk about, that do subscribe to that technique of they haven't leveled up or have special stats by level 3, let them go. Those guys will usually also, if they're keeping their skink TV low, they'll buy a 6-pack of them, like Zestin from the MML used to do. He used to say, "I come with a 6-pack
that's how I ran
skinks."
mine. I wasn't really unforgiving on my skinks. I didn't care enough to worry about them that much. But I always carried a 6-pack of skinks. Not having skinks is the most infuriating thing ever. And Steve's gonna try to come over and cause an issue. Look, right into the middle of the action.
And now he's tying up 3 players right now.
And he does have stand firm, but unfortunately his tag team buddy Barut, the block mummy, is nowhere to be found.
He is he's kind of baiting FantFox to spend the dice or the time or not move these Saurus upfield, right? He's put him in
all he can do.
He's put him in a situation like right now, right? So Harry Potter, right now, if he goes to attack Steve to try to free up the other 2, it's only gonna be a 1-die block. I guess he could take Dumbledore and move him.
Well, and that's it.
Yeah.
You're forcing him to use his movement to deal with your pieces, and also you're forcing him to roll the dice. At
Right.
this point, because of the just completely one-sided pitch invasion, all Mojo can do is just hope that the dice catch up with the lizards a little bit.
Right. And Harry Potter's going to take down. Ooh.
Oh,
Sacrificial
that's going to
Elf
be a
number
level
2.
for Mr. Potter.
Do you remember Sacrificial Elf number 2, Rez? He came from a certain
Mojo,
team.
Mojo is a real messed up dude, and he engages in psychological warfare. He dangled Sacrificial Elf number 2 in front of my players that whole game. He threatened that he was going to try to get him to score when we were chatting before the game. I think that's why I lost. That's not anything else, not anything I did, not the dice. It's because that dirty fellow uses psychological warfare, and he taunted Sacrificial Elf just right in front of my players the whole time. He's like, hey, you get too close, this is what's going to happen to you.
That is my favorite part of playing like any kind of like the undead or necromantic
really
or
great.
whatever is. Yeah, you kill somebody and then you take their dead friend and put him on the line.
Yeah, give Mojo credit because, I mean, with the undead and necro and all that, the zombies can start to get a little overwhelming. And he said he had like 15 zombies or something when the cup started, and he trimmed it down, and he specifically kept all of the ones from teams that he had made, you know, the Champions Cup teams.
That
So
they
he
were
knew
still
what he
like
was
where their team had made it to the cup.
Yes.
That's funny.
So he deliberately made sure that he still had the players from teams that had made the cup.
That is really funny.
Yeah, until you play against them. My players didn't think it was very funny. They saw the guy that had died a month ago on the field again.
Yikes. So this is, by the way, Red, so this is where not having made this handoff last time could burn him. Again, I mean, I know you don't want to give the ball back to the other guy and everything. I know they're like, you know, the obsession with the possession is great, but now you have Carrion Ripper, who is a diving tackle ghoul with the dodge skill, right? Who, I mean, yes, he has to roll dice to get there. It's not easy, but he is within range of that ball carrier. So is this zombie within the scavenger. He's within range. And then there's another zombie and another ghoul down from that pitch invasion, Buffin, who can actually make it to the skink as well. So walling him off, it's going to make it harder, but he's kind of in danger a little bit.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be an issue. I don't know if there was a right choice there because I don't think it was necessarily about saving the one turn. I think it was about if you tried to do the handoff last turn and it went wrong, it could start that. We've both seen that cycle of skinks just refuse to pick up the ball. Yeah.
But he was going to make that handoff anyway. It's better to deal with it early, right? I don't know. That's what if you're not going to have to make it, don't make it. Yeah, I get that. You know, but he looks pretty safe now, though. Honestly, I mean, he's come over. He's taking care of the zombie now.
Never assume that you're safe, but it should be he's going to come over, sit on. Oh, okay. So he'll finish off that cage.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a pretty good move there. And also, it's the matter of is Mojo going to want to put his sure hands, blodge, step, diving tackle ghoul through the rigors of an attempted dodge there.
True. I mean,
although, hey, it's last game of the season. You can't hold anything back.
Yeah, well, it could be, right? He might make it to the next round, but I guess we know who you think's gonna win. Carrion Ripper, no, but you're saying it could be the last game of the season.
Yeah. That's they're if you don't win, there are no games left after this.
True. So, yeah, I think here's the thing with Carrion Ripper, right? He could avoid the Saurus. Take a swipe at that skink. If he manages to knock the skink down, that movement he's using for the hit brings him in on a GFI, and then one more GFI, he's actually marked up pinball with the diving tackle, right? Then he can marry
that would
up.
be the move I went for.
Yeah, and then he can take the Buffon, who I think is he named after Bernie? He can take Buffon and then mark up Severus Snape. And then bring over Oswaldo the Stern. Well, no, actually, he's too far out. But he can get to him with, I don't know. That might be a problem. He might get blocked out the next round.
Well, I mean, you could at least, you can dodge Buffon up there, mark up some of these Sorai. and get Carrion Ripper up there, if you can make it so that the two Sorai up the field cannot get to Carrion Ripper, it's going to be a huge, huge problem for FantFox.
Yeah, I don't think that's possible at this point. I think, I mean, yeah, you try and mark them up with Buffon, but one of those swords will block Buffon free. Maybe, remember, ghouls don't get an Apo. So
believe me, I'm very familiar with the lack of regen and such on the ghoul. But at this point, I think that's what you got to do, and just hope that he rolls a skull and a both down and keeps him in spot.
True. And here comes the first blitz that we talked about. And here, this is the other thing. You know what? I didn't mention. You know what? Maybe you do. You mark up just the one source. You mark up the Wizard of Oz. That's the guy that has tackle. You got a blodging, sidestepping ghoul.
Yeah,
I'm really surprised he didn't do
point.
that.
Carrion Ripper does have sidestep.
I'm surprised he didn't do that.
The big issue too, though, is he didn't. He just stood him up.
He stood him up and he didn't mark. He didn't mark either one of the source. So he's just banking that, you know what, 2-die block. One of them.
He's the Carrion Ripper up there, who may be very well exposed to some nasty hits here. Maybe you don't want to expose Buffon to. I know it's a 67 with a reroll, but I've seen it fail plenty of times. Maybe at this point you're just hoping one ghoul either is a hero or one ghoul is on the sideline and not two.
So this is my philosophy, and again, these are obviously both very capable coaches. I'm just like, when you go, you don't do something halfway like this. Like you commit to your play, right? Like you can't run the play halfway, and that's what he just basically did. He put one guy to be kind of a nuisance, but a dude that they can get rid of easily if they want to. And now there's all these pieces to kind of like mess with that, right? And wow, so what's gonna happen here? He's gonna chain push him out of there.
And now if you see.
No more sidestep.
He doesn't even need to. He comes over. Yep. Now the sidestep's not into effect.
Nullified. Brilliant.
Great play by FantFox there. Completely nullifying Carrion Ripper there. Doesn't get rewarded with his armor break, but he'll take his touchdown and be pretty happy with that, I think.
Yeah.
Great
So I guess that's all
there.
I was saying is that you knew that there were various ways to mess with this ghoul and get him off, and they're very likely to happen if you only bring the ghoul over. But if you had marked up maybe the Tacklesaurus, then this becomes a harder proposition.
It's all a matter of what dice you want to roll. I don't know. Like I said, maybe he just didn't want to risk losing two ghouls instead of one.
I think you become more likely. I think you become. I don't know. I think it's like you either commit and really try to stop it, or just back off and say, you got this. And that's just my philosophy. And again, these guys are both very capable, and they made it just as far as I have in this cup, and one of them will make it maybe farther. So, but again, we're here to provide some color commentary and our own opinions, and everybody has their opinions. So that's just me. But
yeah, well, and especially when you've got when you start putting weird skills in with blodge step and diving tackle and all of that, it opens up so many different plays. There's not necessarily right answers at that point,
Right. And it was a great way to deal with sidestep, by the way. That's just big applause for that.
That was perfectly played. Absolutely perfectly played.
A lot of times when you're the guy with the sidestep guy, you're like, got him! I got sidestep. I'm immune. I can't get surfed. I can't get pushed the way they want me to go. I go where I go. And sometimes you're so like, you take that for granted, and then a good competent coach will show you like, nah, I got some other plans for you.
That was pretty much how it went. So, and Barut the Tyrant finally gets himself off the pitch, or off the ground.
This is kind of a different game. Like, it's kind of a new game now. It's 1-1, and the undead the numbers aren't so bad anymore for them. They're looking at 10 people on the only short one.
But they are kicking the lizards.
True. And that's bad. But let's see. 4, 5, 6,
still,
7, 8, 9, 10.
They're missing the Crocs.
Yeah, so it's 10 on 10.
Yeah, missing the Crocs is a bit of an issue. That's their equalizer for the mummies. That's the thing. I mean, the Funtimes has been playing literally with one hand behind their back through pretty much the whole game.
Yeah.
and it's the strong hand. Now they've got the strong hand out.
And now, so Mojo basically says across the field to FantFox, I have a secret. I'm not really left-handed. And FantFox says the same back. So we'll see how this turns out. This should be an interesting half.
So Barut just has come storming back onto the pitch. So I mean, that's obviously the team leader, right? It's Oswald and Barut. Those are the two guys who are really in charge of this team. Yep. Carrion Ripper is definitely the in charge of the offense, but who really cares about that? They're here to make the drama.
Although I will say I like giving him diving tackle. You're saying I want this guy on the field. He plays offense and defense, and the diving tackle with the sidestep and the blodge. Actually, it's just this guy's dangerous from both sides.
Diving tackle is something that I'm starting to really like to put on my blodge steppers by level, for like a level 5, level 6 choice. If there's
it's a
nothing
nuisance.
else to, it opens up. A team like that should usually be worried about playing defense. The more ways that you can get the ball free, the more ways that you can piss somebody off on offense, the better chance you have to win the game.
Right.
And diving tackle is one of those skills that people like to forget about. I know I have.
Yeah. No, it's gotten me. I'm on the lookout for it constantly. So somebody just got me with it the other day.
I'm on the lookout for it constantly, and it still burns me every once in a while.
Yep. It just burned me the other day, and I forgot what league it was in, but I got burned on it. I was pretty mad at myself. It's really bad when you're like, I know better.
Exactly. That's what, after the first time or two that it really gets you and you know what it can do and it still gets you, that's when you start to get mad about it.
Yep.
That shouldn't have happened. That wasn't there when I clicked. He just added a skill mid-game.
Yeah. No, it's the graphic. It's a graphic glitch. I'm going to go report this on the forums right now.
It showed sidestep.
So you're going to have a kickoff by the zombie, and there's a quick snap. The lizards get a jump on the undead. That's a surprise.
Well, the lizards are kind of like a medium speed team a little bit, but
they're fast,
the undead...
Rez. They're fast. They don't have a lot of agility, but they're fast.
If you think 6 movement's fast.
For 6 movement for your big guys is fast? Yeah. I mean, take a look at the average elf roster, right? Look at high elves, right? If you're not a wood elf,
slowpokes too.
That's why, because you're a wood elf coach.
Dark elves are like playing friggin' orcs. I mean, what's the difference? Why even be an elf if you're gonna have 6 movement everywhere? Your star players have 7 movement. That's your showcase. That's
the
your
witch, right?
Top speed. Yeah,
I
think the witch has 7 movement if I'm not mistaken.
And the runners, what do the runners have? The runners have 6 or 7. I'm not sure.
I think the runners have 7. I would sure hope so. I don't know. I really think most of them are. As Stu says, they love their diving tackle, and he also says elves are not real elves. The only real elves are wood elves. The sooner you understand what I mean when I say this, I'm not talking about all these other imposters. Seriously, you got 6 movement. You're so decked out in armor you can't even barely walk, and you call yourself an elf.
I will say that there's been a dramatic shift. So you could definitely talk that for this
nice
this
catch
season.
right there by the loner.
Yeah,
Sorry,
look at
go
that.
Ahead.
No, he came to play. Goktox. That's
good
his
luck
name.
with that.
Yeah, I think that's the acronym. That's what his name stands for. Good luck for that. Good luck with that. Merlin taking a nasty swipe at Buffon, and it looks like FantFox has picked a side, and he likes that side screen, and maybe not. He's gonna say, "Nah, we're gonna take our sweet time. We're gonna back the hell up and force these slow undead folk to try to come at us, and then swoop around at them."
And Stocky in the chat says delves are best elves. By the way, the D is for dead, not dark.
Dead elves. So, Oh, so I was saying it was this season. So this is again, you're watching the playoffs or the championship cup for season 1. If you log on to PlayStation 4 now and try to join the champion ladder, you'll see season 2 is already in progress. But these are the playoffs for season 1. Basically, Nethios and the rest of the Focus and Cyanide crew, they didn't want to kill the momentum. The C ladder, as we call it, has had a lot of games. We had like last weekend, I want to say it was like 200 games played over the weekend, something like that. Like a lot of games being played, and they didn't want to lose that momentum by saying we're going to make you wait 2 weeks for season 2. So I get it. So we're in season 2 right now. In season 1, the Welves were big, man. Because to recap, for those of you that don't know, we had like everybody that plays in this champion ladder, right? Basically, at the end of the season, we took, and it was a short season. It was only a month, and this season 2 is going to be 6 weeks. So we took the top team of every race, which at the time was 13. Nurgle had not been released yet. And then we took the remaining 3 overall coaches and added them to the mix. And 2 of those 3 remaining coaches were Wood Elf. Wood Elf teams. 2 of those 3 remaining teams were Wood Elf teams. So that was all to say. You guys did very well in season 1.
The only 3 really active, really the only ones with more than 1 game played. All 3 Wood Elf active teams made the playoffs.
Yeah, so I don't know why then in season 2, if you look at the ladder standings, there's not that many Wood Elf teams out there.
I'll tell you, man, Dim, that's the problem.
So Dim, that has that effect. You jumped right up to the top of the ladder,
Dim is 15, 1, and 1 right now. And there's really, I'm not huge on re-rolling teams. First off, my team, I liked it. Jump Up Tree and Strength 4 War Dancer was nice, but I'm not real huge on the concept of like continuing to re-roll my team and just hoping for better luck, basically.
Right.
It's a dice-based game.
I know we don't really encourage this, but personally, what I did this season to help me pick what races I was going to go for, I played one with every race, or not every race, but a bunch of races, and if I lost the first one, I was like, the universe is telling me I'm not competing with this race this time.
I had a decent record. I was like, I don't know, maybe 7 wins, 3 draws, and a loss, and then I lost another game, and I was like, listen, I'm not catching Dim, and there's a lot of undefeated or 1-loss teams in there, and I was like, maybe this one just isn't my season. I was looking, the last I checked, as much as I insult them, the Dark Elves hadn't really been played that much. I may try rolling a team out there.
They are surprisingly underrepresented.
Yeah, I think maybe Didi and his Dark Side Indians set the bar so high last season that some guys kind of shied away. But either I might try rolling a Dark Elf team out just to see how it goes, and if not, then I'll just keep playing my Wood Elf team. I like them, and I'm not worried. You know, if I don't make the cup standings, there's always season 3.
But here's 2 things. The one thing I'll respond really quickly to that. This season, I don't know. You guys know the algorithm has been changed. So specifically to be less grindy.
I do like what I'm seeing with the leaderboard.
Right. So remember, there is a team right now that is 11-0, and they're like number 2 or number 1, right? And I think that's
Trip is number 1. Tripperis.
Yep. So he's 11-0. So really, if you're talking, it's not like season 1. If a guy was like 32-8. 32 2 draws and 8 losses. Well, you were like,
I'll speak for myself. I was number 2 on the overall leaderboard, and looking at the records, I felt I should have been, maybe top 10, but definitely not number 2. So I like the way that they revamped it.
Yeah, so it's much less grindy, and you don't have to. I mean, you do have to play a significant amount of games, right? Like you have guys that are 6-0.
11 games. I mean, 11 games over 6 weeks is very easy to manage, and that's
right.
That's all Trip has right now. Not to diminish it at all. I'm just saying. I mean, if you can win 12 games in a row, you can be number 1.
Right, and that's what I'm saying to you is that if you got in on, if you're watching this, if you're one of these guys in the chat right now, you're watching this and you're like, oh, there's a champion ladder on PS4. Damn, I must have missed season 2 already. Like, no, we're only 3 weeks in, something
Yeah, I
like
think we're
that.
probably, what, halfway?
Yeah, we're probably halfway in. There is time. You can get in there. You can reel off some wins, and you could be at the top. And there are some races, frankly, like I'm probably calling them out there now, but like there are races like Dark Elves or I'd even say some Norse stuff like that that really are. They have a lot of. They don't have that many teams out there representing them, so it's not too late at all to jump in. And I'm saying with 11-0, you get to the top of the
Of the
leaderboard.
whole leaderboard.
Right. So if you want to go for a Dark Elf team, shoot, you might be able to take that #1 spot at like 7-0, 6-0, something.
Well,
You
and
know what I
I may end up rolling another fresh Wood Elf team too.
Yeah,
I'll
why
try the
not?
Dark Elves first probably, but I can't see myself doing more than one reboot.
Right.
Like I said, I really like my base team as part of the problem. And the other thing is like Dim did that on his first run, 15-1-1. Now you can the dice come into play, a lot of things come into play, but I don't know. I'm too trying to be too much of a purist at some point of it, but yeah, I might re-roll another team, but I think I'm going to give the Dark Elves a shot as much as I like to make fun of them. There's openings there.
And back to the other thing we were talking about real quick with the race distribution. So I think because what I've seen, and this is so I'm just speculating, right? The teams last season rather, that were underrepresented, like Necro was severely underplayed, and then this season you're seeing a bunch of Necro teams, Orcs, right? Like Arzo Wayne, good coach, he's got a good team, but his Orcs didn't have an amazing record. They weren't. I don't even think they were in the top 10 overall, but they were the top Orc team. So I think people maybe took a look at that and said, "Oh, well, he made it with with not the greatest record, so I'm gonna give a shot at Orcs." And now there's a ton of Orc teams. Same with the Undead. Mojo came in with it was actually a pretty good record, but it wasn't one of the best. But they were underrepresented, I think, Undead. So people are saying, I'm looking at the ones from season 1 that were underrepresented, and those are the ones I'm gonna take. And there's that break tackle. Merlin doing his thing.
Yeah, and Stocky in the chat agreeing, and it's a great point. Oh, wait a minute.
Jeff 2.0
There
is
goes
injured.
Jeff.
And we're not going to see him again for, well, let's see. Yeah, we may see him back again in the finals if they make it that way. What is this? Is this how many teams left? 8 now? Yeah, so we'll see. We could see him back again in the finals. That's the danger of that break tackle, mighty blow tackle.
Break tackle,
Merlin
mighty blow
is a beast.
tackle.
He is a beast.
Yeah, and Stocky's saying, and it's a great point. Even if you show up with 2 weeks to go, you just got Blood Bowl, or you were out of town, who knows? You only had 2 weeks to compete. You can still make your run and make your way into the playoffs.
Right. And if you want to know more about, by the way, we're working on revamping for. Oh, look, a nice little dodge with that. That loaner's doing, he's doing his part. I gotta say. So it looks like the Lizards are
if he'll actually get allowed to score.
Yeah, right. That's another story. I mean, they could always hire him if he does end up with a bunch of SPP.
Money on a skink, though. I don't know. I don't know.
You need him.
maybe if he
skinks.
scores and gets the MVP.
You're gonna have to hire a skink anyway. I mean, they're not. It's not like they're gonna be hiring another Saurus. You only got so many Saurus you can hire. So, you might as well hire another skink. Get your 6-pack of skinks on. And start it with a guy that
definitely
already
needs a 6-pack of skinks.
Yeah.
But it's all about your TV too.
True. But by the way, so we're revamping again. The algorithm is a constant work in progress. There's still some people that are a large portion of people that would like things to change about it. If you want to learn more about it, there is a forum, the official Blood Bowl forums, and the developers, mostly Focus, that really keeps an eye on there, and then they go back and relay to Cyanide. But Nethios is in there. Nethios works for Focus, of course. Guyam from Focus. They're both in. They monitor those forums. They really do respond. They do keep an eye out on everything. So there's a particular thread where it talks about the ranking system, and you can find it at forum.bloodbowl, all one word, -game.com. So it's forum.bloodbowl-game.com, and you can find those those threads there. Stay on top of it. You can know what's going on in the Blood Bowl community. I learned a lot of things from there. You can even see like what the active glitches are in the game right now, and the developers have like acknowledged like, okay, we're working on this, or this has been fixed, or this hasn't been fixed yet. So
Well, we were talking about that a little bit. I think it was last week, maybe the week before, about both of us coming into the game when it released and not really having any experience before.
yeah,
The general air around Cyanide was a negative one. That
yep,
they basically just weren't listening and didn't care. And I think probably with the success of Blood Bowl 2, the amount of really dedicated fan base people they found, and the release of Blood Bowl, the tabletop version, there's been a real focus. Yeah, yeah. It's a bad pun when you don't even mean it to be. But yeah, they've really been making an attempt. There's a lot of feedback, and it feels like they're very involved with us.
yeah.
Uh-oh.
And I do want to give a lot of credit to Nethios and Guillaume, who have like really spearheaded that movement. They're part of the focus team again, and I really want to give a lot. Like they are. If you post something, you'll often see Nethios responding directly to you in those forums. To let you know what's going on. They've really opened the door, pulled the curtain back to let people know on a lot of things, where they stand.
So in the meantime, we're seeing Atletico now they've got both hands free to take some swings. They've just completely crashed from the Lizard side. It's the left side of their cage. All that's between them and the ball is two skinks.
That is exactly right, and this is the danger again. FantFox. Remember we were talking about he had everybody stacked on that left side, right? And again, I'm looking at it from the Lizards' perspective, from the Lizard side of the field, right? So he had
Yeah,
the
same
cage.
here.
So he had the cage stacked on the left side, and I think he had an opportunity to start pushing downfield a little bit, right? And he decided to pull his guys back, sit at midfield, and then cage up. So it let the zombies, or I'm sorry, the undead, kind of concentrate their forces and crack down on him. And the way it's looking now, man, I mean, this is tough. FanFox plays good, tough defense.
I
We might be
already
seeing
called
overtime.
this yesterday when I volunteered
You
for the
did.
doubleheader that this could very easily turn into another 25-turn Bernie Buffon conundrum game, and I may not be able to stick around for the second one, but we'll deal with that when we get there.
You were right.
But
You were
you've
right.
been saying the whole time that the lizards are sneaky fast. Same thing with the undead. The whites have 6 movement, and the ghouls have 7.
That's true.
Both of these teams are deceptively fast. So
That's
both
true.
of them feel like they can just kind of make that one move to break free, and the other one's sitting there laughing, saying, "Well, I can still catch you."
Yeah. Especially the way it's set up now. I mean, yes, the Skinks are the fastest guys on the field by one movement, but they're gonna have to waste some of that movement turning corners, and that allows the ghouls to get back in the game. Oh,
Oh, but that will definitely help shift things.
I wonder if Gorfang was obtained from Los Malditos Bastardos, who will be playing tomorrow against, you mentioned before, Demented and his Bloody Elves. And I think his new team in Season 2 is called the Bloodier Elves, right?
Yes, yes.
By the
Although
way,
I've
really...
got to say,
Oh, go ahead.
loved him, but man, his elves don't seem to get very bloody.
Oh, yeah? They don't block a lot?
No, they don't die.
Oh, I think maybe they're bloody because they cause blood, or they
Yeah,
they
yeah.
extract the blood from other people. That might be the idea.
That's
there.
not the way it works for my wood elves.
Yeah, you said I like that statistic you gave out. You have like a target. I like to think in there. You have a target stat that you keep track of actively, and it lets you know how you played the game, if you played successfully to your game plan.
I stole that from Sacer, honestly.
Oh, yeah?
Treehawks.
Well, hey,
I can't take credit for that.
Sacerdotalist is a MML coach. Is very, very talented guy. Knows his stuff very well. So, if you're gonna take advice from anybody, it's a good guy to take advice from. But yeah, so what did you say? 30 blocks? You got if you stay in the 30s on the blocks
Yeah.
against you.
Mid-30s is probably an average game, because you figure you're going to give up a blitz no matter what on every turn. So that's 16 blocks right there. You
Right.
figure at least probably 2 kickoffs, so that's another 6, 22 there. You're going to fail some dodges. Your tree's going to take some hits. So mid-30s is probably a good average game.
Nice. So if you stay, oh, look at that. Speaking of failed dodges, pinball.
Man, Oswald is just a beast out there.
He's wrecking stuff. And man, you know who I don't want to be right now. If I'm one of these guys, I don't want to be Harry Potter. The hammer's coming down on Harry Potter pretty soon.
He's been very excited about his soon-to-be learned skill, but he might not actually get to see it because he's got two mummies just staring down at him.
Oh, Oswald.
And Oswald's actually going to take the swing on him.
Oh, unable to put him down though. But Harry Potter rather survives the swing from Oswald the Stern. He's going to get pushed right into the loving arms of this mummy Steve, who is not the block mummy. By the way, Stu is in the chat, co-signing. He says he targets himself around 35 to 40 hits. If he could keep the block sustained to that number, then he's happy.
Yeah, once you start seeing them, and that's the other thing he's pointing out. Just because it says they got 35 to 40 hits, that counts pushes, that counts successful both downs where you both have block. So, I mean, just because it says you got that many hits doesn't mean you actually got a chance to break armor that many times.
I think what Don Eagle told us, he plays both PC and PS4. I think he said he thinks that it is how many you threw. So it's a successful blocks, and it could be so that's another thing. Cyanide's never cleared that up and put out a list of exactly what those stats mean, but he thinks it just means if you got to throw the actual block, it's a successful block. And
here comes Barut.
Barut has been, laying on the sideline for most of the game at this point, and finally gets a chance to get back in, and he's pissed, and he's gonna show Gagaktek, what's up. He's getting in his face a little. The nice thing, I will say this, right? Loner skinks are kind of underrated. Because it's not like you're really blocking with skinks most of the time. Most of the time, skinks are dodging away, and
it depends on who they're replacing. If they're replacing a Saurus or your Crocs, you feel like you got ripped off.
Yeah, that sucks. No, but I mean loner skinks versus like sometimes
other teams' loners.
Or I mean, like if you're a lizard coach, right? You're walking into a match and you're like, I got 10 players. One of my missing guys is a skink, and I have under 150 gold, right? Do I want to spend gold to buy this? Do I want to spend gold right now, or do I need to spend gold right now to buy a permanent skink instead of going with the loner? And I'm saying the disadvantage in that is not huge because most of the times the rerolls you're going to need are to dodge away, not to block. And guess what? They got built-in rerolls in the dodge. Now it's a problem if the guy on you has tackle, then you're going to be wishing you could reroll, but. Especially at only 67% dodge, but
honestly, and we've got a couple coaches over in MML that are trying to run things like all skink teams, and they swear by the skinks, and you can see why. I mean, played with proper reckless abandon, a team of all skinks can really wreck you, if their dice are going right. So a loner skink really is better than most loners, in my opinion, depending... Now, if you're an orc team, if you're a chaos team, if you're a team that nurgle, that's just trying to bash, no, a skink's not going to help you. But they're definitely... I mean, honestly, I think I'd rather have a loner skink than some of the other races.
Yeah, no, true. Some of the basic journeymen are bad, but any loner that comes with a built-in reroll of some kind that's a pretty good loner. And you're going to see Steve unable to finish the deal.
Reigning champion for the MML, Coach Stu there is spouting off numbers and wisdom. With your armor 7, you get it. With the 35 to 40 hits, you're talking about hopefully 15 armor breaks when the numbers go right. And with the stuns and averages, you should only be looking at 1-2 injuries.
And he also said he played against a one Crocs all skink team, and it was a very hard game because he didn't have tackle. So
yeah, I don't think against developed teams, in particular, some teams like Norse would just absolutely decimate them. But yeah, at early TVs, I could see the skink team being viable. kind of like a halfling team, I would suppose.
And we're gonna see our favorite Saurus on the pitch, Merlin, come in, and you know what? He's tired of carrying Ripper coming around with his sidestep and his diving tackle. Yeah, and he's gonna put him on the sidelines. He goes, you know what? Go sleep for a little minute. Go sleep, carrying Ripper.
And just look at the undead sideline right now. I mean, 5 players injured and 1 KO'd.
This happens every time you and I get into a little side discussion. We start to go down a rabbit hole, and meanwhile, like it's this kind of like it's almost like comedic, right? Like we're just talking about something like, oh yeah, and I like to do it, and there's like complete carnage going on in the background.
It never fails.
And down goes Steve. We've been announcing for a while. We're saying the same phrases. Been announcing for a while together. By the way, really quickly, and I realized I missed a couple of questions in there. N Stalky asked, when is the current PS4 ladder end? I think we're halfway in, so another 3 weeks. Actually, I can give you a little more. I'm going to try to give you a little more exact answer, but I will say this. This is not gospel. This is what I think I remember was a discussion about a roundabout date that we were aiming to start season 3. All right, so you cannot take this to the bank. You cannot say, well, Sirius just promised that. I'm not promising. I'm saying we were aiming for somewhere around January 4th, and that's when season 3 would start. So you still have like a full month, I think. So I don't even think we're all the way through. And yes, so I think it's going to end up being more than 6 weeks for season 2 because of the holiday. That's where I think the whole thing was.
Okay.
So you may have some extra time.
Remember, folks, you're getting the inside scoop here. Everything that Jest says comes directly from Focus.
No, but
disclaimer. No, I'm joking.
I feel comfortable saying that. Normally, I wouldn't just like throw out unsure numbers like that. But we had a discussion in the admin forum where Nethio said you guys can pub it as of tomorrow, and that was like.
Well, and I know they've come out and said about the 6-week. Intended timeline at least. So I mean, you're not going anything.
The best pylon animation in the game, and it doesn't seal the deal, but it was fun to watch. I think
Oswald has become a fan favorite quickly.
Yeah, no, I love that. Yeah, when he was doing it to you last match, we were talking about the same thing. That animation is insane.
Oh yeah, I've seen it a bunch. I played Atletico at least 3 times during the regular season.
It kind of reminds me of like that. Have you ever watched like Interview with the Vampire when they're like descending on their prey? Like that's what it looks like. And I'm wondering how cool the vamp animations will be when they bring vampires to Blood Bowl 2.
Oh man. Yeah, there's a lot of teams.
I have no knowledge as to who they're bringing next. Again, though, you can get some inside speculation because some people have. I will say this: if you want to go look at the forums, forum.bloodbowl-game.com. By the way, there you can also keep track of what our schedule is, when the next game is for this championship, and all that stuff. You can also just follow my Twitch. I will Twitch a lot of these matches. But if there's been speculation on the forums of apparently there is already data in the game for certain teams. I think there's 4 teams where there is currently data already in the game. So part of the work is already done. Now, of course, significant work.
Sexy.
Yeah, significant work. I mean, it's been there for a while, but the significant work goes into making that a final reality. They can work on the animations. They got to work out the glitches. Then they have to
they put a ton of work in.
Yeah,
it looks amazing.
Yeah, so it's not just because it's in the game. By the way, I was reading some old forums recently, and they released pictures of Nurgle that they pulled out of data mining in the game early a while back. Just it was posted on Reddit. But it still took a while to get Nurgle finalized and ready. So just because the data's in the game doesn't mean next week we'll have that. No, they have some data in the game, and it helps, but it also might give you an idea if you want to speculate and play the guessing game, who's next. But yeah, you can catch some of the people's speculation on some of the threads on that forum. Um, and as far as our target date, so we kept saying 6 weeks, 6 weeks. Remember, last season was short; it's like only like 4 weeks. This one, it was intended to run six, but then when we ran into the choice, we saw how the holidays was possibly going to impact things, so we decided to extend it. So it's probably going to be like 7 weeks, just because it was either cut it to 5 or make it 7, and we figured, you know what, giving people an extra week is probably will be received with a better it will get a better reception from the community at large than, hey, guess what? You have 1 week less. And down goes Steve again. Man, the lack of the block is a problem for anybody. Any big guy, I mean, even red die blocks are more successful than you would think against big guys without block.
And just as you say that, down goes Barut too.
Yikes. So, block or not, these Saurus they're just tired of these big guys trying to pick on them. And they're going to cut them down to size.
The chat's pretty active. I see Ace of Spades 919 is asking if you would recommend playing Bretonians in the Clatter. I know Sam's got a pretty strong monopoly on the Bretonian market.
Oh, there's a guy that's passed Sam in
really?
Season 2.
Yeah, I played him. I
heard he's good.
Really good. Yeah, he's very good. He beat me.
Yeah, so I feel like... And you know what? So I was listening to, there was a recent episode of MML Pro Talk where it's a podcast put on by the MML, and it was More Shots and Hezekiah talking about Bretonians, who was their least favorite team. But I think both of them acknowledged, specifically More Shots says something that I really agreed with. He was like, I think every team has something great to offer. And I do believe, I don't think there's any sucky teams in Blood Bowl. There's ones you may not like the concept of or whatever. Bretonians
I'm trying to give Bretonians another chance over on our farm. I've got a new team going up because I've seen a bit of the light on how to maybe try to play them. Their defense is really good. It's the offense that's difficult to figure out, at least for me.
But so two things on that, right? Number one, on the offense, you have 4 dudes that come with catch. And 7 movement, and now since they augmented it, by the way, I don't know if your initial foray into them was where the Agi tree was unattainable, like except with doubles, but now that those blitzers automatically have access to the agility tree, you can do a lot of things with Bretonians, a lot, and that fend
the
on the peasants
are really versatile.
Yeah, and the fend on the peasants is really, it can be in the hands of the right coach. I mean, talk about a pain in the balls, man. It can really, really suck. It can ruin your day.
I think the most frustrating thing when you make a Bretonian team that really can be off-putting is the blockers. The blockers are the only players with strength access, and they start with wrestle. And it can be a bit frustrating because you look at them and think, how am I supposed to make a killer with this? But they're really, it feels more like they're not really supposed to go the path of mighty blow and all of that. You give them guard and stand firm, and the team is very much about control.
I think that's right. Yeah, and here's another thing, right? What other team do you know that out of the box they come with a bunch of blockers and a bunch of wrestlers? Wrestle is like such an underheld ability. In
4 players with Dauntless.
Yeah, which is another thing. Yeah, now the thing I hate is they don't have a big guy. I don't necessarily hate it, but it can be a problem.
The thing that I've really seen though, and it took a while for me to really appreciate some of the finer points of TV management. My team isn't even to that point. They've got 1 or 2 levels, but if you can get, say, Knuffles Altar for your enhancement, and you can manage your TV properly and keep it low with your Bretonians, you'll have Mighty Zug out there for half your games.
Yeah. It's a really good point. Now, I don't particularly like most of the star players list for the Bretonians. That's
Zug is a very cheap player. He's only 4 movement, but he's basically like adding a block mummy to the team.
Yeah. So that's the guy that can make it up for you. Yeah, definitely. The Bretonians have
that's what I've
list
seen.
of the least some of my least favorite star players on their list of availability.
They feel like they get the scraps from everybody else.
Yeah, right. And that's probably because they were like a made up team that eventually made their way somehow into the official game. So,
just another instance of the the developers and stuff recognizing the community.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Which is, I mean, I love the way this game is growing. I honestly can't think of another game where like it actually gets more people playing the longer it's been out. I don't
Right.
think that ever happens, right? You release a Call of Duty and people are all over it. NBA 2K, you put it out, like people buy it right away at the beginning. But the more time that passes, like Blood Bowl's been out for over a year now, right? And somehow the player base just keeps growing. You don't see that with Madden. Like, I mean,
Right,
people
right.
buy like, well, that's also because the new Madden comes out. But you know, like, some of these like high-profile games, like the Division, they were great when they first came out. Not near as many people play it anymore. I feel like this community just keeps getting stronger, and the DLC just keeps actually like just really making a difference and making that game better.
Ooh, and Barut fails to go for it, re-rolls it,
He's
and there goes that loner skink.
Goktox, G Money. We'll call him G Money. G Money's gone for the rest of this half at least, probably. I'm thinking.
But yeah, it
This is
goes to
gonna
show
end in
you if you
2-1
continue
in
to build
overtime.
on a good game that it can survive. Dalab guy, Dalab guy, is saying in the chat, and a good point there. I don't really know how all that works, but the free PSN Plus downloads, if Blood Bowl could pull that off to be the free download for a month, that would definitely expand the player base.
That is an excellent idea. That is absolutely excellent idea. The worst part for me, and I'm a guy that's I'm all in on Blood Bowl. It is my favorite game. Like yeah, my favorite game I own, that and The Last of Us. I actually still play that, but I love Blood Bowl. But I will say that if I didn't get it on a Black Friday sale, I probably would never have played it. I heard like one guy that I was friends with from playing The Last of Us, and he told me, "Hey, I just got finished playing Blood Bowl. This game is dope. You should try it out." And I was like, "What are you talking about?" It's like he's like, "Oh, do you like it's a mix of like chess and Final Fantasy and football." And I'm like, "I don't really play Final Fantasy. I know how to play chess. I'm not that into it, and I'm not really sure I like the turn-based thing." But Black Friday came around. I got some like sick deal on it. I think the game was like $15 or something like that, or 19.99 or something. I was like, yeah, why not? I'll try it, right? And when I did, I was hooked. Like this game is great. So I think that that's a great idea. As I think it was Rostifer, who's also one of our other coaches who made it to round two, actually unseated the favorited Dark Side
Dark
Indians.
Side Indians.
Yeah, and Rostifer.
Oh no.
Barut the Tyrant's gone, and that's a big blow to the undead. But I'm sorry, Rostifer is saying he's co-signing with Dalab guy. He's saying, hey, it worked great. This free release thing worked great for Rocket League. Rocket League's another game
Right.
that I was like, oh, why not? It's free. And then I was like, this is genius. It's a great
Right.
game. I would have paid money for this had I known how great it was. Like if I went to a friend's house and played it and I got hooked on
Yeah.
it, I'd be like, yeah, I'd buy this now. But I got it for free and I started playing. But would I have probably spent the money on it? I'm like, remote control car soccer? I don't know. But it's great.
Yeah, I don't think I would have bought it. And since then I've picked up some of the DLC to at least to show my support for the game.
Did you get the back car?
No, I got what was it? I got like the very first one, and then I got one of the key packs for the. I just played it recently, and they added like these loot crate things, so I picked up a key pack, but I don't think I'll pick up more than one.
Well, you said Loot Crate. Did the actual company Loot Crate, or are you using them like
No,
a kind
no, no. They've got like an actual like crate that you unlock in Rocket League now.
That's funny. Loot Crate is a. Do you know about the company Loot Crate?
Yeah, yeah. I see the commercials.
Oh, okay, cool. Cause it's funny because like I do my own podcast on like entertainment stuff. Me and my co-host called Live from the Man Cave. And we do like an unboxing of Loot Crate stuff regularly on the show. It's like one of those companies that's like they're growing and it's like if you're into any of this like gamers, comics stuff, kind of like Loot Crate, you pay like what $8 a month or something like that. They always send you at least a free T-shirt and you get all kinds of like cool pop culture stuff that comes in the mail.
Nice.
Pretty cool. So it's kind of really cool to see the cross marketing yeah, over with the game, saying like we're gonna do like a loot crate package in game for Rocket League. That's pretty cool. Um, but yeah,
So,
Rostafur also mentioning dreaming for cross-platform. You know, we said this before, but I feel like this particular cup or the C ladder, the champion ladder, the champion cup, it is really put us in touch with a lot of the people that play on PC, and it's really like knocking down walls. And I do feel like it's a wake up to the developers saying like, you know, cross-platform play probably needs to become, you know, higher on the list of priorities because it really could do a lot for the game.
well, and it's been really nice
Do you
between
see that,
here
Rez?
and between. Wait, what just happened?
I was like, that was a
Oh,
dodge with a non-break tackle. Soros who just said, "Screw it." Harry Potter goes for his to finish out the turn, and you're seeing some agility from the skink over there. I think that break tackle guy Merlin's been teaching the rest of the team a few moves.
I'm gonna say that may be a little preview of the skills that Harry's about to pick up.
Hmm, true. And let's see. Bernie Buffon popped in. As we know, Bernie Buffon has announced a few Champion Cup games. Great guy again, great announcer, great coach. Lost in overtime because he was not aware of the rule that there is no turn 25. So he's in here popping in. He said, "Can you smell what these two coaches are cooking?" He saw BBC, which we call the Bernie Buffon conundrum, when you try to pace your offense so that you score on turn 25. I think he said that before, though. You know, again, while you and I have been talking, important things have been happening here on the stream,
Right.
and the Lizards have managed to break up that sideline and go with the sideline cage. And I'm not smelling overtime anymore, Rez. This is looking very favorable for the Lizards. I don't know. What do you think?
Well, they've got the sideline. Look at the undead sideline. It's just insane. Barut has spent probably 2/3 of this game on in the KO bin. You've got,
And that's their
and
only
you're
black
down.
mummy. Steve, the other one, not faring that great. And Oswald the Stern is pissed off, and he puts Harry Potter down for
Oswald's
his
out there trying to
insolence.
make things happen, but I'm not sure that he can do enough.
And here's the messed up thing for the other side. He's not gonna get him over there in time. So I think he's saying go ahead and score. Right, you're gonna score. I want my 2 turns. And FanFox, of course, I can already call it, is not going to score on the next turn. But
No, I wouldn't either.
even if you were to like column defense this, right? That skink right there, Willow the Third. This is why skinks are particularly a problem. He's got agility 4, and he's got the stunty skill, which means that even like if you put a tackle zone right next to him, he can run right into tackle zones without the negative modifier that you get for running into tackle zones at all. So every
Yeah, and I think
dodge
we'll
is
see. I think
83%.
we'll see him set up the screen for Willow to kind of hang out up there, and then they're gonna focus on Oswald.
Yeah,
He's the only one who can really do much to impede Willow with his tackle skill.
yeah. Yeah, and even that is again an Agi 4 skink. You're looking at every dodge is 83%, and the Lizards still have 2 rerolls. Oh, look at that! That's
Oh,
Buffon doing his thing.
trying to impress his namesake.
And you know, it's funny you said that. Buffon just jumped in there to basically make it much harder now for the source to turn around and seal that off. Like you were saying, they were going to try to screen it off so the ball carrier can sit up there. And nah, not with Buffon sitting there. That's going to be a lot tougher for them to do. They can still
Oh,
blitz him.
wait a minute!
Oop.
Here comes Insane Bolt,
Uh huh.
and that just really threw a wrench into their plans.
This is what happens when you have 2 great coaches playing each other. One of them does something that you're like, oh, well, that's it, that's game, and then the other one says, no, not so fast, my friend.
I beg to differ, good sir.
It's not over yet. This is looking very, very favorable right now for the Lizards, though.
Alright, I will be right back, like 2 seconds.
And I mean, I think it's a foregone conclusion. The Wizard of Oz is gonna take the swipe it. Yep. Oh no, wait. So, are we playing for the definite stall here? Yeah, it looks like the sideline cage is going to continue. And the blitz
So
may
we've
come
got a
from,
half a sideline cage.
yeah. I gotta be I gotta be honest here. The I'm surprised that the blitz didn't come from the Wizard of Oz and then at least set up the sideline cage, right? Like now you've got Buffon hanging around in there, and everything else is an unsure kind of role.
Well, okay, so there's the markup on Buffon, and I think we're gonna see Merlin showcase
Break
his
tackle.
just scaly rage. There he goes.
There's the break tackle. Okay, that's what he's doing. I just it's so risky.
Of all the sore eye to mark with the zombie, that was the one that that it wasn't going to affect.
Ugh, armor break. And
Ouch.
Buffon that's as good as a badly hurt because he's not. No, actually he'll come back in turn 16. Sideline
Yeah,
kick
but
is in effect.
that will most likely be on a kickoff return at that point, and the undead most certainly do not have enough players to try to push a ghoul for a one-turner.
That's true. So would you say game blouses? Or nah, you're gonna have to see.
We could definitely see maybe some sort of fan-incited incident where the game gets extended.
True.
At this point, anything that can extend a Clatter Championship game most certainly will. So
It has and will continue to happen. Yeah. By the way, if you're watching this, you are in for a treat. This is the second round of the
you've
the
been
NFL.
really been slipping.
The
It's not
NFL,
even Sunday
I'm
yet.
all over the place. Yeah, of the Blood Bowl PS4 Cabal Vision Champion Cup, and you're gonna have a treat right after this game. Actually, I'm gonna give it five. I probably need 5 to 10 minutes, real quick. Take a bathroom break and get my final preparations together.
Yeah,
But
I can stand to run down to the corner store here real quick.
cool. So maybe we'll make it like a 15-minute thing.
Yeah,
My
that sounds
South
good.
Park Cowboys will be facing off against the Bretts of Sam T. Both of us are the two current champion ladder admins, and we actually just added a third, and that is the who I call the Godfather of the MML, Preach MJ. He's going to be helping us out.
He kind of snuck that in on us, didn't he?
He did.
There was no talk from him, no nothing. It was just like, what, I think yesterday. And Sam's just like, oh, hey, guys, here's Preach.
So, yeah.
It's all right, cool, man.
It's been, he's had some ongoing communications with Nethos, and Nethos thought it would be a good idea to bring him on board. I agree. He's a great guy. If I can
and
handpick
the data. Yeah, the
third
data
admin.
that Focus has access to, I know Preach is just dying to get his hands on.
So, I mean, but, it's funny because that data they're making more and more available to the general public. If you don't really, it's like one of these things where like the whole Costco thing, like, oh, you don't need to be a retailer to get these wholesale prices, right? Like you can go on the forums and go on the general. This information is floating out there. There's a guy named Mordrek who developed a link that you could go to his site and you can actually see what your actual C ladder ranking is now, or actually for any private league too, PS4, PC, maybe even
Really?
Xbox, because he's got a direct link to the Cyanide gave him a direct link to their stats, to their server and their server
Nice.
stats. So he basically is as a public service, he went and put this out for everybody. I posted the link in the MML. I think I also posted it in Blood and Tears. I think the link I gave was a little.
Wait a minute.
Whoa,
Here comes.
whoa!
Oh my!
Whoa!
No!
I can't even verbalize what I'm seeing right now. Oswald is Stern making some unlikely dodges, but ironically it's Willow who gives him the boot and stuns him. Oswald's done for the match, and it looks like the
man.
undead are done for the match. But what an exciting defensive
You know what the
move.
problem is? Oswald just couldn't get his arm pulled back and get a good swing with balls that damn big.
Yeah, I mean, if there's he better get the MVP. I mean, I will hate the MVP system.
Oh,
if
he
Oswald is
single-handedly
Stern.
tried to hold the team together in the second half.
He
I
did.
mean,
It's been all Oswald. And Willow scores, and that's yeah, this is so, like you said, one turn probability is probably not much, and now we will see is Mojo salty enough
I literally
that
think
you'll
the
see the
one
turn
turn is
16 foul.
impossible. The only thing that could save them right now is a riot,
True.
which I would not hold. Yeah, nothing would surprise me at this point. The only issue is even if they get the riot, the Lizards are only down one player.
Yeah.
Undead are down 6.
Mojo, as you know, prefers to try to whittle your numbers down, and the exact opposite has happened here.
Well, and as an undead team, you expect. I don't care what team you're playing against, unless it's maybe a chaos kill team at 2000 TV. You expect to win the war of attrition because you've got regen.
Yeah, yeah.
You figured no matter. I mean, look at Oswald was injured in the first half and he bounced back. The problem is nobody else has.
Well, a couple bounced back though, right? I thought it was one or two, but even with
Yeah, I
the
think
regen,
he did. I think there was 2. I think Oswald and somebody else, one of the zombies, may have regened.
so it hasn't been
I mean, you've
truly
got your other
50%.
tackle, White.
It hasn't been truly 50% for them, yeah. But like, I mean, that says
But it
something,
hasn't
right?
been one of those just. This could have been. If Oswald hadn't regened, this would have just been a complete nightmare
snuff
for
film.
Mojo.
Yeah.
It's already not very, very pretty. I'm sure he's not very pleased with the way it's gone. But without Oswald at all, this would have just been a nightmare.
And this just shows you where the skinks stand in the pecking order here on this team. the journeyman will take that final. I mean, this is gonna be a series of 3-die blocks. I think so you got 2. Yeah, the mummies are gonna come in with the 3-die blocks.
Well, yeah, both mummies immediately get 3-die, and getting Oswald to 3-die will not be difficult.
A riot could change everything, though. But even then, like you said, it's unlikely. But
Well, that's the thing. The only player, Buffon and Oswald are the only players who can realistically score. Well, not even realistically. They literally can only score with a riot. And you've got Merlin lined up in the middle of the pitch. He can come over and just snuff out any hopes.
yeah, not looking good. But there's
They are going to attempt it though, because you can see Buffon lining up on the line of scrimmage. I'm thinking that's what's going on here.
Yep. So let's just consider the one turn for a second. You're looking at 7. You need no way 4 pushes.
Four pushes. I think it's literally impossible with the amount of players that he has.
1, 2. Yeah, no.
But
there's
I've not tried. I've not tried to do it.
There's just no way.
I mean, you would have to.
You need the blitz as one of the pushes, and then 1, 2. Yeah,
So
there's
maybe
no. You don't have to.
Maybe looking like Baruch pushes. Madam Mim the second into the slot. Zombie pushes. Another zombie pushes. Maybe he has 3 set up.
That helps. If you're gonna go
because
for
otherwise
a
this would have been a lost cause.
I mean, I think it's a lost cause anyway. I mean, look where the ball is, and
Never say never.
True, but it's if we had to, if I could bet on this game right now, I think I'd lay my life savings on this isn't happening.
I don't think you'd win anything.
Yeah, the odds would be like, yeah, great.
They'd be like, here you go, here's a nickel.
Here's your money back, yeah, plus a nickel.
I'd play the odds on Atletico. I'd just bet $5 and get a grand.
Because you never know. You
and
come in with a dollar
again,
in a dream.
Mojo has played an excellent game. The armor breaks have just not gone his way, and that's going to happen against lizards, unfortunately. With no claw and only, I mean, he's got 3 mighty blow players, but the Sorai are able to knock the mummies down. The mummies aren't getting swings every hit.
Yeah.
The most disappointing thing is Oswald got a couple of really good hits on skinks that did not really do anything.
Right. Yeah, and this is the worst. So this is the worst of both worlds for the next opponent here, who will probably be the winner of. I want to say, I'm not sure. It's either Dim's Bloody Elves versus the Orcs. No, I think those may be the winner of me and Sam gets. I think the winner of this gets gets Dinar and the humans. So the humans actually are getting all those injuries from the bloody Skaven game. I think some of them will be coming back. But Dinar's, I bet he was hoping that at least if the lizards came out of this with the win, that the undead were going to take their pound of flesh with them. And these lizards are going to come out like when you see like a champion MML fighter come out and finish the match in 30 seconds, and you're like, damn, they don't even look like they've been in a fight. So. It looks like Mojo's going to make an honest attempt here. I mean, definitely the one step hurt.
I think Well, the thing is, it's awesome. It's fantastic to get the extra step forward, but
Yeah.
when you take, I really think he's trying to set up for a one-turner. I really believe
Yeah.
that. And it's so hard to figure out what the hell you're supposed to do once to keep everything in line, to keep the one-turner in the right position when you get that extra square, because you've already spent 3 minutes, 2 minutes planning out where the initial positioning was and how to get all of your blocks, and you weren't even sure if they were going to work in the first damn place. And then you get the extra square, and everybody's supposed to move.
If this was a 2-minute timer, I think
Oh.
it would be like there. I don't know. I think the extra minute here really kicks in to help Mojo try to salvage.
The 3 minute timer, I think, really has helped me develop a couple of my strategies a little bit better. Oh no.
Yikes! That's what you did not want to see.
And now the reroll's gone already.
Oh, you got the
He's
push.
probably gonna take, yep, here's the push. That'll
Alright,
push
so you
Buffon
need
up
2
one,
more.
so he only needs 2 more. But he's got no reroll left now.
Yeah, they gotta be miracle dice at this point. How are you gonna get the next block? Nah, I don't see this happening.
Okay.
Man.
Well, wait. So you've got to bring. So that's 1, 2,
You
3,
hit the money in there to make
4,
a 33%
5.
Dodge with a go for it.
Yeah, I think honestly the quick snap ruined his one turn chance.
No, I don't think he had one. Really, you think? I mean,
I think
if
he
you would
had
have got
at least 3 pushes set up the way I saw it.
yeah.
At least 3. I really do. The way I saw it, I think he had at least 3 pushes set up.
I don't know. This is tough. I see how it could happen, and it's very, 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 very unlikely at this point, right?
There's some 5s and 6s that have to get rolled to get into the right position for some more pushes.
Oh!
And there's a 4! There's a 4! There's a 2!
How unlikely is this? This is crazy.
But see, this still isn't good enough.
No,
you
need
still
that.
got to get somebody into the top, above, I guess from our view, for below the skink. Now he's going to go for the ball. Yeah, you still got to get the ball up there. Give Mojo a ton of credit, man. He is really working to try to do this.
Never say never.
This is a great coach.
Is this a long bomb?
Oh, I'm sure it is. He's probably looking at whether the 2 go for it. Cuts it down to a long pass.
Right. I don't know.
This is a veteran coach, a very good coach. Oh, they tried to pass and it didn't work.
It's gonna fumble. And yeah, dude, like the A for effort on that one. That's
yeah.
Wow, hard fought match. The problem is when those lizards get that ball and it's the second half and they get to control that possession with the source and Fant has this is a good team. This is good. Wizardry is going to be hard to beat. I got to call them one of the favorites probably to take it all at this point.
They were undefeated for a long time in season 1.
I think they opened up like 12-0 or something, right? Before they
it
took
was
like
something
2 losses.
crazy.
Yeah. Well, wow. Let's take a look at these stats. I mean, nothing crazy on the armor breaks. Only 13 from Lizardry, but why did it look like so much?
Well, if you look though, 5 injuries inflicted.
That's what it is.
The stuns. The stuns really weren't coming through. And when the injury dice are hot, you're gonna have some hard times. Again, give Mojo a ton of credit. You see a lot of times, a couple things start to go against a coach, and they start saying, oh, "I'm getting nuffled," and it may be true, it may not be, but there is always a way to try to tilt the game back in your favor, whether it's your white dodging into a sideline cage on turn 15 and damn near taking out a skink, whether it's trying to figure out how to get 4 pushes with your ghoul to try to win the game. There's no reason to just throw in the towel. There's pretty much always a way until you're down 3-0 with 3 turns left.
Right. True. So the craziest stats it's like I'm looking at 39 blocks from the Lizards versus 23 for the Undead. I don't think I've ever seen an
really
Undead team finish 23. Game. Yeah, like at least one where it was really a battle. But this is wow. A lot of rushing yards for the Lizards.
Were very unfavorable for the Undead in this game.
That's very true.
And the players that were going out too was a big issue. The huge pitch invasion that we saw that took out half of the undead team. Just a lot of really tough breaks for the Funtimes. Great game played by both coaches. Fox obviously deserved to win the game. He overcame some difficult stuff too, but I felt like there was a lot of things. 23 blocks for an undead team tells you something was a little bit wrong.
It's crazy. So we just joined in the chat by both coaches. FantFox, let's go with the winner first. You will be moving to the semifinals. Congratulations. A big win for you and a lot of SPP for some of these guys. What's showing on my screen now, Harry Potter getting 7, Severus Snape getting 4, Pinball with 5, Willow 3, and Merlin 2. You're looking dangerous, man. You're looking like a favorite. I think the odds are starting to. I think people are getting worse odds when they're betting for you now, because I think Vegas is starting to realize Wizardry is kind of an unstoppable force.
I told Jest he gets about a nickel for putting his bet on you to win the game.
I'm not surprised. I mean, look, if Nuffle does what he did today, then you just can't play against it. I mean, well played, Mojo. I'm just sorry that Nuffle decided to make that such an uneven contest. I just felt that pretty much every time I blocked, I got an armor break, and the armor break was an injury, and one of your players was being sent off. It was crazy, absolutely crazy.
I will say this, though. You managed to make it so you forced the undead to take a lot of the blocks against your AV9 guys. And we've seen matches where AV9 doesn't hold up, but AV9 is supposed to hold up that way. You know what I mean? And there wasn't that much successful Mighty
Pull it to the mummies.
It didn't for the first 2 blocks on the mummies. I was a bit worried. Yeah, I was a bit worried when the Saurus was sent to the kill box.
True.
Block 1 from the mummy, and Gandalf followed block 2. I thought, oh no, don't do this.
But it also helped you that he didn't get to throw that many blocks. He only threw 23 blocks at you. How did you keep that number down?
Well, it's pretty easy when you have a turn and you find out that half the undead team is on the floor because there's been a pitch invasion or something crazy.
Yeah. I think that may have been the key kickoff event.
It was ridiculous. That was ridiculous. I mean, there's so many of his players went down, and the last round with Synonymous, I know exactly how you feel when you see your entire front line disappear because they've all been knocked out or something. That was the key turning point. The fact that it was made relatively easy to score in the first half, which meant all I needed to do was just stall out the last 8 turns and score on the 16th, and leave Mojo a 6+ dodge, which he made, and then failed the GFI.
How bad was the...
Give Mojo a ton of credit to you for hanging in there and making it a game, because, I mean, Barut was off the pitch for 2/3 of the game, Oswald was off the pitch for half the game, but he really, he tried to rally the team, it just didn't quite work out.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. I think my strategy kind of played into FantFox's hands a little bit. I went as soon as I seen him with Loner skink with the ball at the start of the second half. I thought, all right, I need to aggressively make him roll dice and just attack the ball as much as possible. So a lot of my turns were me moving into position to be in contact with his guys to try and slow him up and just be a nuisance. So I spent a lot of my time positioning aggressively, hopefully, hoping that my armor wouldn't break as much. I was hoping for maybe a couple of stuns or things like that. So I was it was a very risky strategy in the second half to kind of just go for it. But I felt after that first half, and the pitch invasion, I really had nothing to lose, so I was just kind of going for it, but it didn't pay off. Played into his hands a bit, but it was a good game. FantFox played really well.
Well, yes and no. I just feel it was kind of ruined as an even contest, due to someone else's involvement, i.e. Nuffle. But
I was kind of thinking that after the first turn when I took out the Crocs and injured Melga using Apple, I was like, this is a pity. This would have been a good contest, and it turns later. It's like, oh god.
You thought, hang on a minute, the tables have turned massively here. I mean, I felt I had to use the Apo turn 1 as well, because otherwise, I don't want to be get down to five Saurus and the Crocs. And
Yeah,
then
my
when the Crocs
strategy was to go Saurus hunting. Like I didn't want to go skink hunting. I wanted to go Saurus hunting because you only have
Really?
11. Yeah,
It's only got 11 players. Yeah.
it was an out there strategy, and especially after the start. So I thought like if I could base a few people and just, but then yeah, that backfired.
Yeah,
Well,
all that
Fan,
Master
how
Blade
bad
thing
was the
to
pucker factor, the butthole pucker factor when the white when Oswald the Stern made that 6+ dodge and took the swing?
I was okay. I was okay. I knew it was a red dice. I knew I'd got sidestep. Um, it wasn't that bad. It wasn't
No.
that bad. I also had another skink in range as well, um, even if Willow had been knocked out. So I wasn't too worried with rerolls in hand. But there was always a sweat. I mean, I tried to make it as difficult for him as possible to get down there, and I closed down one route and left him a dodge. Left him a dodge two was it two GFIs, maybe two GFIs, and the 6+ dodge to get in there. So it was pretty tough for him, but fair play. And the one turner as well. I was looking at it thinking, oh god, please don't be able to
Wait,
do
let me
that.
ask you, Mojo, did the quick snap actually make the one turner? Like, did it screw up the one turn attempt?
I don't even think it was on the cards, to be honest. I was
I
just
don't
kind
either,
of.
but I thought it looked like you had at least 3 pushes set up initially, and then you ended up getting cut down a little bit.
I had one similar the other day, and I got a quick snap, and I just ignored it. Except
Yeah.
for the ball thrower, But I honestly, I don't know. I don't even know if it was on the cards in the first place, to be honest. But
I'm not sure
I
if you had
think
enough
with
players to do it,
yeah,
but
I
I was
didn't
just
think he did.
curious.
I
no
went with the
idea.
basis that I don't think Mojo had enough players to do it, which is why I set up as I did on the defense. I thought I'm not putting any Saurus in the way. I'll just put the skinks. I'm not going to try and make it even harder for him by putting more people around there. He's got a reroll, but the zombies are just too slow. They're going to have to make dodges.
Right.
And
Well, we saw that with towards the end of the play, where there was just nobody to make it around the corner to fill that last
Yeah.
spot to get another push.
yeah, that was close.
But it was definitely a well thought out attempt. I want to see.
was.
I've never seen 4 pushes for a successful one turner.
Yeah, I was looking forward to that too. I think, I don't know if it's possible. I mean, there's even like a.
I wasn't. I was not looking forward to it.
I wanted to see how it would work. The attempt was.
It's always worth a try, isn't it?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
It definitely is worth a try.
Some other coaches, some lesser talented coaches may have just said screw it and start taking to fouling, fouling and just trying to get last hits in on FantFox as revenge. But Mojo, you gave it a serious.
No, I tried a long bomb to the mummy at the end.
Yeah, I thought actually you could have. Did you have 2 more GFIs you could have done with the white, which may have thrown it to the ghoul?
Yeah, I would have if the pushes had worked out, but it's because they didn't. I was like, just throw it to the mummy for the crack.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
All right, guys. Well, so I want to keep our captive audience, and we got a second game to get to, and I don't want to lose Rez either. So we're gonna roll into the. What I'm gonna do is we're gonna take a 15-minute break. Let's call it, right? Or is that enough time for you, Rez?
Yeah, that should be fine.
Okay, so in 15 minutes from now, so roughly about 2:30 Eastern time, and that makes it 7:30 GMT. You will be seeing the next match in our doubleheader today, which is going to be again my South Park Cowboys. It's a Chaos team visiting Sam's Blood and Tears folks, which is a Brett team. And that one's going to be a hell of a battle too. I'm looking forward to it. Demented is going to join Rez in the booth, and I hope everybody will tune in. It'll be right here on Serious Jest Twitch, and so 15 minutes. Any parting words from anybody?
Also on tonight's show,
Well played, Mojo. Good.
Of course, it was a pleasure. Thanks for putting on a great show. All right, guys. See you in 15.